very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to your economics class. Today we are going to start with macroeconomics and a new chapter, that is some basic concepts of macroeconomics. I have already listed down the learning outcomes that you are going to achieve by the end of this class. The first one is you will be able to classify the goods, because today's topic is classification of goods. And secondly, you will be able to understand why this classification is required. What is the significance of this classification? So let's begin our class today. There are two ways of classifying goods. We have classification 1 and classification 2. Under classification 1, we have either final goods and intermediate goods. There are two types of goods under classification 1, final goods and intermediate goods. And under classification 2, we have consumer goods and capital goods. Consumer goods and capital goods. So we're going to take up one by one both the classifications. So first we are going to begin with classification 1, that is final goods and intermediate goods. Under classification 1, we are going to talk about final goods first of all. What are final goods? These are the goods which have crossed the boundary line of production. Now here you need to understand what do we mean by the term boundary line of production. So any good which has crossed the boundary line of production is going to be a final good. Now what do we mean by boundary line of production? That is, they have crossed the process of production. They are out of the process of production and the process of value addition. No value can be further added to the final goods because they are out of the process of production. They have crossed the boundary line of production and they are ready to be used by final users. There are two types of final users. In case of final goods, this good can be either used by the consumers or households or can be used by the producers. If this good is used by the consumers, then it will be termed as final consumer good. For example, shoes, juice, bread, butter, etc. So if final goods are used by the consumers, the final users are the consumers, then it becomes a final consumer good, and the examples are shoes, juice, bread, butter and many more. And if this final good is used by the producers in the end, then it becomes a final producer good. And the examples can be plant and machinery, it could be tractors, harvesters, etc. and many more. So I repeat, what are final goods? Final goods are the ones which have crossed the boundary line of production. That is, the process of production is over for these goods. No value can be further added to these goods, and they're ready to be used by the final users. There are two types of final users here. Either it can be used by a consumer, and if it is used by a consumer, it becomes a final consumer good, and if it is used by a producer, then it becomes a final producer good. Examples of final consumer goods are shoes, juice, bread, butter, etc. And the examples of final producer goods are plant and machinery, tractors, harvesters and many more. Another important thing, if this type of good, any expenditure is done on final consumer good, then this type of expenditure is termed as final consumption expenditure. Whereas the expenditure which is done by the producers on these type of final producer goods like plant and machinery and tractors, etc., then this type of expenditure is termed as investment expenditure. Clear? So final goods are the ones which have crossed the boundary line of production. No value can be further added to these, and they are ready to be used by the final users, either the consumers or the producers, the final consumer goods or final producer goods. Now final consumer goods are the ones on which the consumer will be spending, and the expenditure will be termed as final consumption expenditure, and the expenditure which is made by the producers on these final goods, for example plant and machinery, tractors, harvesters, etc., it will be termed as investment expenditure. Moving towards the second category of classification 1, that is intermediate goods. These are the goods which have not yet crossed the boundary line of production. We are already done with the meaning of boundary line of production, that is being out of the process of production. So these are the goods which are not yet out of the process of production. Value can still be added to them, and these are not ready to be used by the final users. These can be either in the form of raw material. For example, wood that is used for making furniture is a raw material, and therefore it will be categorized under intermediate good because it has not yet crossed the boundary line of production, and value can still be added to it and can be made into chairs or any other furniture, and therefore since it is a raw material it will be termed as an intermediate good. Another category could be goods for resale. For example, firm A has purchased goods from firm B for resale, then also it will be termed as an intermediate good. So intermediate goods are the ones which have not yet crossed the boundary line of production. The production process is not yet over for these goods because value can still be added to them, and they're not ready to be used by final users. They can be in the form of raw material, for example wood, sugarcane, etc., and also in the form of goods for resale. Finally, the expenditure done on these type of goods is termed as intermediate consumption expenditure. Expenditure done on intermediate goods is termed as intermediate consumption expenditure. Let's have a look at the difference between the two, final goods and intermediate goods. Final goods are the ones which have crossed the boundary line of production, whereas intermediate goods are the ones which have not yet crossed the boundary line of production. They are still, production process is still going on for them. For final goods, no value can be further added to it, whereas in case of intermediate goods, value can still be added to it because the production process is still not over for them. In case of final goods, they cannot be resold, whereas in case of intermediate goods, these are resold by the firms for making profit. In case of final goods, these cannot be used as raw material, whereas intermediate goods are used as raw material for further production. The expenditure which is made on the final goods is known as final expenditure in the form of consumption expenditure and investment expenditure. This is the expenditure which is done on the final consumer goods, and this is the expenditure done on the final producer goods. So it is C plus I, that is consumption expenditure plus investment expenditure, which makes up the total of final expenditure in case of final goods. And the expenditure which is done on intermediate goods is termed as intermediate consumption expenditure. Now another important difference between the two is, in case of final goods, its value is included in national product and income, whereas in case of intermediate goods, they are not included in the national income or the product. The reason behind what was the significance of classification, this is the basic significance of classification, that why we did the difference between final goods and intermediate goods is because final goods, value of final goods is included in national income, whereas the value of intermediate goods is not going to be used in the value of finding or estimation of national income because they are not yet crossed the boundary line of production. So they formulate a part of final goods, and therefore once they turn to final goods, only then their value will be included in national income. So final goods are the ones whose value is included in national income and their value is not included in. So once we are done with classification 1, a question comes up. Same good can be final or intermediate can be also called as final good, and same good can be termed as an intermediate good. How does this happen? Let's take up an example first. For example, milk. This milk can be used by a consumer, that is a household, or it can be also taken up by a tea seller. If this milk is bought by a household for making final consumption, then it will be termed as a final good, because they are not going to add value to it. They are not the producers who is going to add value to it. They are the final users. So ultimately it is going to be termed as a final good. Whereas what happens in case of a tea seller? Tea seller is going to take up milk, he is going to buy this milk, he is going to add value to it. He is going to add value to it and is going to make tea out of it, right? And he is going to sell this tea. So this tea is a final good. Whereas what is this milk which he has taken up? It is an intermediate good. So you see, milk can be termed as a final good or an intermediate good, both, depending upon who is ultimately using it or how it is going to be used. So it all depends upon end use. It all depends upon end use. How it is going to be used in the end. Is it going to be finally consumed? Then it will be termed as a final good. If still value can be added to it and it is going to be, value addition is going to take place in this particular product, then it will be termed as an intermediate good. So it all depends upon the end use of milk and any other good as well. So same good can be termed as a final good or intermediate good depending upon the end use. So once we are done with classification 1 under final goods and intermediate goods, we are going to start with classification 2, consumer goods and producer goods. Let's begin with consumer goods or consumption goods. These are the goods which are directly used for satisfaction of human wants. For example, ice cream and milk, these are used by the households, and these goods are the ones which are consumed by the households when purchased. So there are 4 types of consumer goods or consumption goods. The first one is durable goods. These are the goods which are used several times. These are used several times and for several years. Relatively high in value. That means they are expensive. For example, TV, scooter, car, washing machines, etc. Then we have semi-durable. These are the ones which are used for 1 year or slightly more than 1 year, not more than that, and they are relatively low in value. For example, shoes, clothes, furniture, etc. Then we have non-durable goods. These are single time or single use goods. For example, toothbrush or toothpaste, very inexpensive in nature. These are used for once or a single act of consumption. By the single act of consumption they end. For example, bread, butter, etc. Then we have the last one, that is services. These are non-material in nature. For example, services of a doctor, lawyer, teacher, etc. Next category of goods under classification 2 is capital goods. Let's talk about them. What are capital goods? These are the fixed assets which are used by the producers. We all know the meaning of fixed assets. These are the assets or the goods which are repeatedly used by the producers in the process of production, and that too for several years. So what are capital goods? These are the fixed assets of the producer in the form of plant and machinery. These are repeatedly used by the producers in the process of production, that too for several years, and it has a very high value. They are very high in value. Another important thing that you need to understand here is all machines are not capital goods. All machines are not capital goods. Why? Because only those machines which are purchased by the producers is going to be termed as capital goods. Machines can be purchased both by producers as well as consumers. For example, a sewing machine. If this sewing machine is bought by a tailor, he's a producer, and therefore it will be termed as a capital good. If it is bought by a producer, then only it will be termed as a capital good. But if this sewing machine is bought by a household, if I take up this sewing machine, I am not a tailor, if I buy this sewing machine, I am a consumer, therefore this will not be termed as a capital good. It is not a capital good. Then it will be a final consumer good, a simple final consumer good. So all machines are not capital goods. Only those machines which are bought by the producers are termed as capital goods. If they are bought by the consumers, then they are not capital goods. Only the machines which are bought by the producers are capital goods, and therefore the statement is clarified that all machines are not capital goods. Statement under capital goods is all capital goods are producer goods, but all producer goods are not capital goods. Here you need to understand that there are two types of goods that are being discussed. First is capital goods and the other one is producer goods. Producer goods are the ones which are used by the producers. In the process of production. It includes both raw material as well as fixed assets. Whereas capital goods are the ones which are used by the producers in the process of production for several years. That is only fixed assets. Right? It does not include raw material. No raw material included. Here we do not have raw material. Right? So now let's read the statement again. All capital goods are producer goods. Yes, definitely, because fixed assets are capital goods. Therefore, all capital goods will be formulating a part of producer goods. But all producer goods are not capital goods, because producer goods include raw material. Raw material is not at all a capital good, because it is not going to be used for several years. Capital good is the one which is going to be used in the form of fixed assets and is going to be used for several years. Whereas raw material is one time single use producer good. It is going to be used once and it is going to finish up. So producer goods include raw material and fixed assets both, and therefore all capital goods formulate a part of producer good, but all producer goods are not capital goods. So once we are done with classification 2, we will be able to differentiate between the two, that is consumer goods and capital goods, which were the goods under classification 2. Let's have a look at the difference between the two. The first one says that consumer goods are the ones which leads to direct satisfaction of wants, whereas capital goods, it does not lead to direct satisfaction of human wants, because still the goods need to produce or make further production of these goods. Then we have the second difference, that is these are the goods which are consumed by the households, whereas these are the goods which are not consumed by the households but are consumed by the producers, and that is why they are termed as capital goods, because now the producer is going to use these goods for further production. The expenditure made on the consumer goods or the consumption goods is termed as consumption expenditure, that is C. Whereas the expenditure which is made on the capital goods is termed as investment expenditure, that is I. Now, increase in the production of consumer goods increase the welfare of the people, and it also improves the quality of life, whereas increase in the production of capital goods is going to increase the production capacity of the economy, and it is going to create a backbone of GDP for your economy. So today we done two classifications, that is classification 1 in which we did final goods and intermediate goods, and classification 2 in which we did consumer goods and capital goods. That's all for today. Thank you.